How did you learn to tap into your instincts more?
By f***ing up my life, by ignoring them. Because you don't wake up in the morning and go, you know what I'm going to do today? I'm going to just screw up my life. I think I'm going to, cheat on somebody and drink too much and be just a jerk to my kids. I'm going to screw off at work so that I get fired. That's what I'm going to do. Now, what happens is you start to make small decisions that are not aligned with the deeper type of vision that you have for the kind of person you want to be. And you don't even have to write out what kind of person you want to be. You know when you are not doing something that is aligned with your values because it feels off. And for me, I can see there were just so many things about my life that were off. And a lot of them were not my fault. I had no idea that I had ADHD until I was 47 years old. One of the reasons why I struggled with anxiety for almost my entire adult life is both because I had a repressed traumatic incident that I did not remember until my late 20s that was stored trauma that set me on edge.
Wow.
I didn't know about it. And then I'm in a classroom and I'm dyslexic and I have ADHD and I am part of what they call the lost generation of women because they only studied ADHD and ADD in boys in the 1970s. And boys and girls experience ADHD and ADD and dyslexia at the exact same rates. And when little boys have these neurodivergent or learning style differences or all the various things that can happen in the development of a human brain, they present very differently than girls. Fidgety, I know I have a son who's this way. Interruptive.
Disruptive.
People, they call it a behavior problem. And then it's very confusing because you can hyper-focus on video games. Why? Because you enjoy it. So it takes a lot less mental fuel for you to do it. But when you have to direct your attention and focus, it's something you're not good at. It drains the mental fuel. You get fidgety. You can't... And so you get labeled a problem. And girls are the opposite. We become very reflective. We become self-critical. We start to withdraw. And do you know the number one symptom that rises to the surface when you have somebody that has a neurodivergent brain or that has any kind of focus or attention, like style issues or, developmental issues? Anxiety. Because you are having to walk into a situation every single day where you are not certain about what's going to happen, but you cannot do what all these other kids can do. And so there is an entire generation of women that were diagnosed with anxiety in their teenage years and their 20s when the actual issue was ADHD or dyslexia. I was on Zoloft for almost 2 decades. It helped me climb out of the hole and stabilize. And when I came off it, I had I was pregnant with my first daughter, I had such a traumatic birth experience. Plus, I was now off this medication that I had been on for almost 8 years. I had a severe case of postpartum, the kind where they give you Ativan and turn you into a zombie so that you don't hurt yourself or hurt the baby. I couldn't be left alone. We had to have friends and family sit with me so Chris could go off to work. I have been to hell and back mentally.
Wow.
And I only discovered, the number one way that women discover that they have ADHD or a learning style difference?
Through their kids, when their kids have it?
Yes. So when you have a kid who struggles, you then have to advocate for them. You then go through all this neuropsych evals and stuff. And when our son Oakley, who we found out in 4th grade, and thank God we had enough money at that point to be able to hire a doctor outside the school, I think of all these kids that are getting passed over, that are not getting flagged at school, that are not getting the support that they deserve, and they're being labeled a problem. I live my life believing, Chris, that people want to do well. We want to thrive. We want to do well. And if somebody's not doing well, they're not a challenging person. They're missing a skill, or they're missing a layer of support, or they're missing the knowledge of what the actual issue is that's causing the behavior that we see. And, I often think about the fact, who the hardest working kid in a classroom is? It's not the kid getting A's. It's the kid who's failing. Do you know how hard it is to sit in a classroom and know you're the worst student? Same thing with exercise. The person that's working the hardest at their health is your friend that actually is the most unhealthy. It is so difficult to carry around a lot of extra weight. It is so difficult to be winded when you're going up a flight of stairs. It is so difficult to live in a world where you feel less than. That's all you think about. And so we had our son and he was really struggling and anxiety was through the roof. And he was being labeled a problem because he's interrupting class. And we get him evaluated. He's like, well, he's dyslexic, he's dysgraphic, he has ADHD. I'm like, oh my God, thank God. Now we know what we're dealing with so we can support the way his brain works. And I said to his pediatrician, God, that sounds like me. Do you think I might have it? And he looked at me, he's like, Mel, you are the most ADHD parent I have in my practice. You are so accomplished. You miss every wellness appointment. You call in a panic at the beginning of every school year because you missed the appointments this year because whatever, your kids weren't sick. And now you need all the shots and you need the physical so that they can play sports. We're like, no, it's coming. Oh, school's starting. Mel's going to call. Of course you are. And I'm like, why didn't you tell me? He's like, I'm not your doctor. And so I went and got tested. And I have to say, I was so relieved. And I felt so bad for the teenage me and the 20-something me. And I felt so bad for like all the people that I may have hurt or the things that I did that I felt I had zero control over because I just was not in control of my own brain and my own attention and the way that my body was operating. And I didn't understand it. And I had so much regret, especially, I really feel like I just blew the college years, that I squandered that experience because all I did was drink. And then I would go to the stacks to try to study. And the second I would sit down, if you have any kind of focus issues, you'll understand. All of a sudden my stomach's like, and I have like eagle ears. I can hear people on a different floor. And now that's all I can hear. And the clock. I can't for the life of me focus. And I always wonder, why am I the queen of all-nighters? Why am I the person that is turning everything in at the last minute? It's because my brain and body need an emergency and a flood of adrenaline in order to organize itself, to focus at something that I'm not particularly interested in.